Hello, beloved. It's me, Robin Hallett, intuitive healer and light sparkler at robinhallett.com. And this is Tea with Robin. On today's episode, a spiritual practice is not for show. This isn't a social media journey. It's not a resume, not an earthly credential. Your practice is here to support you in where you long to be, and it is here to save you in the hardest of the hard moments. I'll share some listener letters and a few fun things about what I've been up to, too. So come grab a cup of yum yum and meet me here. Well, hello, beautiful friend. It is me, Robin. Welcome back to the podcast, Tea with Robin. This is episode 140. 140. All of the show notes, anything I mention you want to look up, come to my website, robinhallett.com/140. It's all there. Hi, friends. Hi. If it's your first time here, this is a healing podcast. It's a place to receive, to sit down, to take some energy in, to pause and reflect on your own life, and hopefully take some new energies in that add transformation not only to your experience, but for everyone you're connected to as well. This is the definition of the light sparkler. And that's you and that's me, my friend. Friends returning, how have you been? Hi, how's it going? I hope that these last few weeks have been wonderfully well, been good to you, and that you've been good to these weeks. Our experience is always, we participate in the experience we're having, so it's always up to us how we want to see the dynamic. And today I really want to talk to you about something I love from the Course in Miracles. Let all things be exactly as they are. I love it so much. So many of us say, when I ask you in session if I see you or I talk to you online somewhere, sometimes I'll ask, what is it that you really want? How do you want this day to go? And hands down, the biggest response, regardless of the situation, is I want it to be easy. I want flow. I want to be in the flow. I want things to flow easily. And then, that was my chair, by the way, I promise. Let me see if I can do it again. Oh, there. Yeah. Don't you love it when you, something squeaks and you go, I swear, it was the chair, I swear. And people are like, mm-hmm. And then you're like, see? And nothing happens. Yeah, well. We struggle with letting things be exactly as they are when it's unpleasant, when it's difficult, when it's challenging, when we feel guilty, when we feel angry, when we feel worried. Any controlling personalities out there? Anyone? The major worrywart in the family? It's hard to let things be exactly as they are. So that's what I want to talk about today. I took last week to myself for Memorial Day. No, it was the solstice. I've been giving myself more pauses from the podcast here and there, weekly, a week off here and there. And it's been so profound for me because the truth is that healing never closes. The process of healing, the healing journey never is on vacation. There is no, it's every day, all the time. And that's kind of how I like to show up too. But sometimes I also like to accept that an engine can't keep running 24/7, even though they're built to last, whatever. At some point, it's nice to give things a break. And I enjoy that process so much. The process of taking a break is acknowledging how things really are. You're not a machine. You're not a robot. I am not. You know, you need rest. You need time. You need reflection. You need self-focus, self-care, selfish focus. If you're a light sparkler in your family, if you do it out in the world, if you do it for a living, as we call it, or not, you need to develop a capacity to hold yourself and be about yourself for a while. And so sometimes I like to take a week off, but I do like to come and leave you a little message. So I hope last week, if you missed me, you heard my message. It's good to keep showing up, but also include yourself in that equation. So whoever needed that reminder today, there it is. And I say we cheers, and let's talk about letting all things be exactly as they are. Cheers. Cheers to us, friends. Cheers to letting things be easy, to letting it be exactly how it is. Whether you know me in healing sessions, or you know me online, or you know me just through this, not just, hey, whoa, just, YouTube or the podcast here. One thing you'll probably know is my message doesn't really change about self-care, kindness, gentleness, slowness, making space for your experience. And one of the things that has helped me so much get there is my study of A Course in Miracles. You are not required to study what I study. That is the beautiful thing about us. We celebrate our uniqueness. But this is what I talk about because this is what I know. This is where it's at for me. And I hope you have a study, a spiritual outlet. I don't know, your way, your practice. I hope you have a practice, and that you're regularly relying on it, not because it's good for you or what you should do or what the experts say or any of that crap, but that you're doing it to help yourself, to sustain yourself, to, support yourself. That's the purpose of any study. It's really about supporting you. So, the wisdom of the Tao, if you like Seneca, if you like Marcus Aurelius, if you like Shakespeare, if you like the Course in Miracles, A Course in Miracles, the A Course in Miracles, you like your oracle decks, your yoga practice, your way is the right way. I hope that you are allowing yourself the space to receive your own practice to support you on the journey. Yeah, I do, my friend, I do. So coming back to the practice, letting all things be exactly as they are. I'm just going to pull up the lesson. I'm looking around for my book, and I've probably taken it somewhere else. I have more than one book in the house, more than one copy of the book, and yeah, it's not here. It's probably in my bedroom on the bedside. I have another one out in the garden. Sometimes it gets wet. Sometimes, things happen. So here it is. And I'll read it to you because I like to try help explain it a little bit, but I am not any authority on this. I'm another student. I happen to have been reading this book since 2006 and always find beautiful things. Let all things be exactly as they are. Lesson 268. Let me not be your critic, Lord. Let me not be the critic and judge against you, Spirit. Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity, and thus let it be as you created. For thus I'll be able to recognize myself as you created me. In love I was created, and in love I will remain forever. What can frighten me when I let all things be exactly as they are? So if you go through that again and you say to yourself, let all things be exactly as they are. I fully accept who I am in this moment now, this day I'm having. Let me not be the critic today. Let me not judge against this amazing, beautiful place, this universe, this life, this energy flow, this reality, this creative pulse. Let me not be critical of that. Let's let it be easy. Let's let it be easy. Don't let me even attempt to interfere with what I know is best. Let me tell you, universe, galaxies, multiverses probably. Let me tell you how it goes. Let me tell you how things work. Let me tell you what colors look best on Saturn. Let us argue about how things really work. Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms. What a weird thing to say there. Sickly forms, though, you know what that means? That means my kooky version of events, my ego story, my controlling self. Do you have a controller in you? Do you have a complainer in you? Are you still finding places where you're jockeying for importance, to look important to people, to look special to people? Yeah, me too. So, that's a sickly form there. Let me not interfere. Do you regularly get into spats with your kids because you're controlling how they present themselves? Let's not judge it on top of that. Let's just wake up here. Those are kind of like sickly forms. Are you a nag ever? Are you ever a nag? Yeah. Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from its unity. And thus let it be as you created it. Let me stay out of it. Let me mind my own damn business for a change. Let me not heap negative energy. Sometimes clients will say to me, I just know there are people not rooting for me in my family. People aren't wishing me well. They're hoping I fail. They're waiting for the shoe that's going to drop, that kind of thing. Hey, take responsibility. Instead of thinking about that other person and how they're such an a-hole when it comes to your journey. You really want to start owning how you're the one putting your wishes into that story. You're wishing for that. You're trying to find union with that negative energy. Like, work your light right there. Don't just think about, that one person in your life. You know who it is, that special one who's always, offering you the contrast, the yin to your yang. That person is your teacher. Let me be willing to withdraw my wishes from union with that dark cloud. And just let it be as you created it, universe. You don't have to keep saying, oh Lord, oh God. As you created it. For thus, that means I'll be able also to recognize myself as you created me. I'll finally see if I can let all things be exactly as they are, if I cannot be critical, if I cannot judge against the beauty of this whole universe and the ease and effortlessness of its flow. If I can practice staying out of interfering and distorting everything into my illusion of cuckoo bird, cuckoo town. If I can be willing to just keep withdrawing my energy from union stories of darkness, joining in. Now you're fantasizing about your special person and how they're criticizing you. Now you're answering them. You're answering out loud. You're planning what you're going to say next. You're plotting it out. You're going to your healing session and you're talking about it with your coach or your therapist. Hey, when this happens, what should I say? I hope your person is saying, hi, is that even happening? Or are you just thinking about it in your head? So let me withdraw my wishes from its unity. If I can do that and let it be as you created it, I'm going to continue to have these glimmers of my own sacredness. I'm going to see myself as worthy of the same magnificent light. I'm going to see myself as permissible. I have permission granted. Permission granted. I'm allowed to be exactly as I am. And you can apply this in lots of ways. If you like to eat Little Debbie snack cakes, and remind me to tell you later why I'm saying Little Debbie's today, okay? Somebody remind me. Thank you. I can eat what I want to eat. I can do what I want to do. I can spend my time as I please. It applies on all levels. If everything is a creation of God, of this magnificent universe, and I'm only here for the joy, the ease, the flow, the maximum joy. If I decide I don't have to be here to learn hard lessons and hard knocks and the school of life and all that, that's fine if you choose that route. The way of suffering, the path of, it's all, you're free. But I can recognize myself as you created me, and I will know that in love I was created. And in love I will remain forever. And if that's too, sappy, then find your word. Don't be that person who's so critical because you can't handle the truth. You're uncomfortable with the mushy-gushy. That's not my problem. That's your problem. In love I was created, and in love I will remain forever. So what can frighten me when I let all things be exactly as they are? If you want to read more, I'll post this, like I said, to the website. There's more to that lesson, but that's it. That's it for us for right now. Let it be as it is. Let it be as it is. Let me be magnificent too. Let me stay out of all the stuff I'm doing to dim my light, Can you hear my Post-its? I got some Post-its for you today. I've been thinking a little bit about this practice I just talked about, letting things be as they are. There's a number of things going on right now, present in my mind. We've just passed the experience of Father's Day here in the States. Father's Day here in the States. Second weekend in June, I think it was. And as it always goes, the week before, the couple weeks after, whenever I catch up with you in a healing session, you'll have your stories about the experience, and nobody's story is bad or wrong. Nobody's story is bigger or worser than another. I'm just setting this stage here. But everybody has an experience and a story. And for me, it's really important to give voice to the stories. I've posted a number of things leading up to and following Father's Day. I've written a ton of posts. Not a ton, probably 2, maybe 3 in 12 years, but a ton. Do you ever do that where you kind of put yourself down at the same time? Holidays like that bring up big feelings, and whether your feeling is resistance or regret or sadness or frustration or impatience, or you jaded, you're somebody who says it's just a holiday invented by Hallmark. That is true. And in my experience, it can take a lifetime to actually believe that deeply. So most of the time when people say stuff like that around me, I'm very clued in to how much has been going on under the surface there. Because sometimes we cling to phrases like that as a mantra and a reminder and a life raft, and that's all very powerful and helpful, actually. But I always hope that you're not forgetting that you have deep feelings and you're doing something here to help yourself, and not try and go unconscious with a sarcastic flip remark that actually is really deep, Yeah. So Father's Day here, and more things come to light with that, don't they? Every year you get another opportunity. We're no exception over here. We've been walking our stuff too. I've been really practicing allowing myself to have my own experience with things. I'm opening some Instagram posts here. I've been not just thinking about taking care of number one husband, but I'm thinking about myself, me, and my experience growing up, and the experience with my dad and my stepdad and my family and the stories. And it's intense, The last episode, which I thought was so good, 139, you can go back and listen. You're right on time with it. If this is resonating, you're going to love that one. I was saying that if healing was easy, everyone would be doing it. It is not for the faint of heart. And that's not saying a negative thing. It's like, if you're not, sometimes you got to be strapped in for this journey, right? I once went on one of those women's retreats, and I'm only laughing because it took me so long to climb this telephone pole. They rig you up with all the gear, the helmet, the basket that you climb in, and it gives you an instant wedgie plus camel toe. Hi. Yeah. Your shorts are up your butt, and you're having this, you're under so much pressure to have this major spiritual experience, this big release. And you might not, standing up on top of this pole, holding on to the line, trying to get my balance. Everybody down below yelling. Somebody has a chair pulled up. Of course there are snacks. This is entertainment, people. There's a lady up on the telephone pole gonna jump off. Or not. It's kind of funny when you get up there sometimes because I have done this a few times, but you realize like it's harder to walk back down than it is to jump. And I wonder if they do that on purpose. It's more precarious trying to step back, you know? So you're up there having this whole experience, and you can also have these experiences in your everyday life without jumping off a telephone freaking pole. You can just show up in your life and be brave with your feelings. When you come to that place, so many people say to me, Father's Day, don't want to do it, don't want to go, don't want to get together, don't want to be phony. You know, why? Why don't you? Because I don't want to pretend everything's fine when it isn't. Yeah, I get that. And I don't like the pressure of having to like entertain people and when it doesn't feel true. Yeah, I get that too. You know, what if we tried letting all things be exactly as they are? How about we just do that? What would you do? Yeah, I mean, you know, that's what courage looks like. Sitting with your discomfort. Not interfering with the creation, but not distorting it, not wishing bad things to happen. Let me let it go. Let things be as they are. We don't want to get together this year. Not on that day. Not with all that pressure. Or we want to be together. Or you're so lonely for a parent and you wish you could get together. You know, however you're feeling. Let it be as it is. You know, you were created in love. This energy you're feeling, can you let it be held in love too? You know? Can you stop constantly moving with your guilt trip, your guilty conscience? Can you stop constantly being guided by something's wrong, what's wrong, what I should do, the right thing to do, the good thing to do? Because when you do things that way, I mean, frankly, it's bullshit. You're baking a cake. Let's say you're baking a cake, you're dropping flowers by, you're doing it all out of pressure. Is it sincere then? Is it really loving? Is it really sincere? You want to get to a place where it's loving and sincere. Where the word should changes to I'd like to. I'd really, really like to. So welcome your feelings. If you didn't want to get together, if you did want to get together, if you were afraid to get together, welcome your feelings. Let them be as they are and see what's next. Transformation happens in an instant, but not if you get in there and add your wishes to the disaster story. And that's what we're doing when we're fantasizing about things, when we're afraid, when we're thinking in fear about our kid who's so reactionary, and we're just trying to, you know, keep all the balls in the box. What is that IKEA thing? The pit of balls. You know, we're just trying to always police the balls. Don't let the balls get out. Don't touch my balls. Keep your hands off my balls. I don't know. I'm just going with what's here. I'm not going to edit this either today. So, yeah, you know, let it be. And if healing was easy, everyone would be doing it. If you're awake, then it's your job. It's your spiritual job if you want to. You employed yourself at this job, by the way. You hired yourself already. If you want to show up for work, then show all the way up. If you've decided you're in, then do it. I wrote this post on Instagram not too long ago. There was a little pushback privately, I wonder sometimes how much we're jockeying to sound good in our comments, to sound good, to say something that's beautiful and succinct. And I put energy into things too. I think about it, but also are you allowed to have a real reaction? Are you allowed to acknowledge where you're really at? So, what if we didn't waste our energy just showing the world what an amazingly evolved being we are? It's not a social media journey. It's not a journey for your earthly credentials. It's not a journey on paper. It's not a journey in the gossip mills. It's a journey for you. Show up for you. Know your own secrets. The hardest thing is that we don't know our own secrets. There are more parents out there than you know who don't want to do certain things. And there are more kids out there than you realize who want to do certain things with their family. I see what I did there. I wonder if you notice what I did there. The stories are amazing. The main story being parents want to be with their kids and kids don't want to be with their parents. But I find actually there's a flip side to that that's even more powerful sometimes. So know your own secrets. And there's nothing wrong. Show up for you. So when it's hard, when you're frustrated, when people let you down again, and you can be let down sometimes hundreds of times by one person in a day in the theater of your own mind, right? If you're being honest, you're fine. You know what I'm saying here. I know what I'm saying here. I actually have more than one person, to be fair. So when you'd really love to shove something in someone's face, that's when you show up for yourself. At some point, you have to pull yourself out of the movie you're creating right there in your head, in this moment where nothing's actually happening. That's exactly what the line means when it says, "Let me not attempt to interfere with your creation and distort it into sickly forms." The letters I get, how we're just creating crap that isn't even happening. So, where was I here? Yeah, when you're so frustrated with other people, that's when you got to stop. That's when you have to know you have to show all the way up for you and be present with you. Stop the story. Stop the story. And stop the story that you're the perfect one. Your poo doesn't stink. That you're not participating. Every time somebody would trot out that cone, the sound of one hand clapping, about the sound of one hand clapping, I would think there is, I would think about relationship and the infinity symbol, and it's always two hands that need to make the clap. Thinking about it it takes two of us to tango. It's not possible that you're the shinola and the other one's the poo. That you're the light and the other one's the dark. It just doesn't. You're generating all of that story. So you're all of it and more. when we realize, like, yeah, I'm doing this lesson and that means I have to stop the whack I'm generating by projecting it out there on everybody else, or the two people in your life that are really your big practice teachers. And I'm calling them whack. They're wacky. I'm creating the whack. We create the whack. We all do it. It's a spiritual practice in my mind, to acknowledge that, to remember where that comes from. It's not from the union, the self who's united in love. It's from the separated self, the ego. It's from the siren, the parts that creates the sirens. I love that. So we all have the whack. There's no, the hardest one is when you're with people who act like their shit doesn't stink. It's tough. It's really tough because it brings up so much attack in you and offense, like over and over and over. But if you can recognize that's happening, it's beautiful. That's when we can learn to step back and be quiet and learn the move of energy here. Like, I don't have to engage. I can observe the dance in other people, not need to comment on all of it, not need to defend myself in my mind. Let it all be as it is. Let it be easy. Yeah, I see what they're doing there. But so what? What's it to me? Let them be free. When you cannot commingle your energies, isn't it funny? We have all these terms that come from financial stuff. Commingling. Never commingle your assets, right? Don't do it. But are we learning about commingling our energies, codependent energies? Are we? I don't know. I hope you are here. Step back, be quiet, pull your energy into your heart. Practice your practice. If there are people who disappoint you or you're disappointed in them, I said the same thing twice, but I think you know what I was trying to say. Step back and be quiet. Not because you're so perfect and everybody else sucks. It's yucky. It's so yucky. And, it's hard to be with people like that. Your kids, as they get older, they get to that stage. I don't know what age it happens. I'm not going to say more about my specific situation, but because, no. What's that term? Plausible deniability? Yeah, I'm all for that. There's an age we all get to. I can tell you for a fact, I remember being 31 and being there. I just knew everything. I knew everything. And by the time I turned 40, I suspected I was totally wrong. And now at 52, I'm so grateful to my parents, who sucked in many ways at parenting, by the way. But I'm so grateful that they were who they were. Really. I would pick it all over again, even the worst of the worst parts that I've never told anyone ever. I would still pick them. That's the truth. So if we step back and be quiet and hold our own hearts, let it be easy. Let all things be exactly as they are. Let me not attempt to interfere and distort things into sicky forms. Let me pull back my own wishing, my dark wishes from situations and people, fantasies, futuristic stories, and just let things be as they are. Because then I can recognize myself as you created me. In love I was created, and in love I will remain forever. You know, forever. Can I handle that peace and joy? Some of us don't know because we haven't learned. Our bowls are so shallow, we don't know how to hold anything in them. We've got to develop the time and the quiet. I am telling you, it is a skill that takes a long time. You know, develop the quiet deep in your bowl, so to speak. Scoop it out more so you can hold more. Then we have more opportunity to not just be the victim or passive aggressive, you know, or plotting our revenge or withholding our love or punishing someone, bringing it up again and again. You ever had that happen where somebody says something to you one time and you never let them forget it? Boo, that's on you. That's on you, boo. You need to stop doing that. I'm working on that story too. When we see people for all of who they are, which is created in love, made by love, when we see them that way, it's just one tiny thing. And most of the time, there's so much truth in it. You know, take the medicine. It's not always pleasant. So, it's always the bigger move to step back and give space. Let it be easy. Let things be exactly as they are. It's okay. But I guarantee, you know, we play a part in all of it. It's like the flying lessons across my house right now. I love all the noises, actually. I can be so in peace with all these noises now. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. I used to be so bothered by the lawnmowers and the weed whackers, you know? So, no matter, I guess I'll end it here, but no matter what I've said today, if there's something that felt hot and prickly, if you felt you didn't like it, or you felt, you know, a hot response came to your heart, you know, be with that. Don't just stop at me and what I said. Sit with it. Why did it come up in you? You know? Why did it come up in you? Why is the feeling there in you? Yeah. And if you like, you know, messages like this, I do write what I call happy mail to the Love Posse every week on Wednesdays. And again, the sign-up links are, you can go to robinhallett.com, but if you go to robinhallett.com 140, everything is there for you. It's so important. That we let ourselves be in this way. Let it be easy. Let it be exactly as it is. Allow yourself to let go, even to notice where you're tight and controlling, where you're plotting for the apocalypse again, where you're expecting the shit to roll downhill to you, where you're, and you know, maybe you could take it a step further and say, I'm hoping it's going to happen. Just give me a reason. Own your creations, boo. It's really a good thing. And the last thing I'll say, okay, we know it's not the last thing. When you stay in this place of practice, you help each person feel their own truth. That is so important. If we get to that, we're really doing the deep work. Yeah, so beautiful. Ooh. A lot of good notes here, friends. A lot of good notes here. So let me check the time here. Yeah, I thought today would be fun to just read you some listener letters that I've been getting and share a little bit, share some responses beyond what I can normally say in a quick email to you or a text reply, So shout out, I'm just looking through my Buy Me a Coffee account. You can buy me a cup of coffee or a few cups or a bottle of wine if you like, if you enjoy these podcasts. I so appreciate your love and your support in all the ways. And it reminds me to ask you to support me, in any way you feel called. Make a donation. Or share this content on, share this material on, share this light you're receiving on. Help other people find it. If you're online, leave a review. It's been a minute since someone's left a review. Could use a new fresh review this week. That would be awesome. But this came from my friend Jennifer, who says, I'm inspired daily by your Instagram posts. It helps me visualize living a life that serves me well of my choosing. Plus, you happen to love so many things that I love. Making sprouts, Trader Joe's meals, self-care, our husbands. I'm loving watching you learn more about what rings your bells, and it inspires me to find more things like that for myself. Enjoy your coffees. I appreciate you sharing your wisdom. Thanks, Jen. It's a beautiful thing, and I appreciate 5 coffees. It's like a bottle of wine, actually. And tonight is a strawberry moon, and maybe there'll be a little champagne and strawberries. You never know. But I love to earmark these donation monies, the funds. Last year, I bought a little swimming pool in my backyard. If you've seen those pictures of my watering trough, I saved all the donation money I received and bought one. It's so beautiful. It's so fun. And that way, as you enjoy your time, you remember that I showed up as myself. I offered my light. I let myself be exactly as I am. I didn't interfere. I did what I do. I showed up. I honored it. And this is the return. If you may recall my 3 things philosophy, every person has a gift. Every person has a gift that comes from the love that created them. Gift from God, I say. But you can just say from the universe, a gift from the universe. You're unique. And when you own that gift, when you honor it always, in all ways, show up as yourself, share as yourself, love yourself, be yourself, and then you decide to share that on. So that's exactly what Jen is commenting on here, what Jennifer is saying. This is what she appreciates. It's all my sharings that are just so me, so love, and other people can access their own light from that. It's a very important thing to realize. So when I'm floating in my pool, I feel like it's my sacred duty to be doing that, Yeah. So thank you again. Here's a little poll I did on Instagram not too long ago. How do you want to feel today? And people replied, easy, in the flow. Here's another one, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Here's another one, to stay rooted. Here's another one, to be grounded. You see how these are like, we all want something that feels like ease. Simple, gentle, smooth, more efficient. Here's a message from Christy. Hey, Robin, super amazing. This is exactly what has been going on. I'm practicing silence and being quiet with all that stuff you mentioned. How does it get any better than this? Cheers and love, Christy. Did you hear the horn honk there? Bump, bump. Just talking about this family stuff, this is in response to this message I shared today, because I've been talking this message quite a bit the last few weeks. How does it get better than this? Once you realize I'm learning to let them be as they are. Do you know anybody who's constantly correcting you? Yeah, I know a few people who correct me while I'm talking, who point things out in my garden. And I've been really practicing with that. What if I stop defending myself? What if I work on my own reaction? What if I get into a habit, instead of saying, you always do this, or rolling my eyes, or expecting it to happen and wasting my free time defending myself when they're not even here talking to me? Okay, don't let me be the only one who admits that, okay? Thank you. Oh, little Debbie's. Thank you for the reminder, whoever just thought that. Okay, I will remember right after this. The horn honked again. When you let it be as it is, people can access their own pain that they're dishing out without realizing it. People correct you because they're suffering with their own perfection stuff. That's why they correct you, because it's about them. When people criticize you, when they tell you things that are upsetting, because they're telling you about themselves. And if you can decide that you're bigger than that, you're the universe, actually, and the universe doesn't exactly quibble with things. It enfolds them in love, You can let that go. Other people can access the pain of what they're feeling. That's the real light work that's here. It's amazing. Okay, I have one more I want to read you, and then I'll tell you the little Debbie's story, which is not a story, so I'm going to totally disappoint you ahead of time. Just kidding. I'm going to let it be exactly as it is. Great story. This is from Carol. I mentioned Carol in 138. Carol is my first online client when I came online, whatever you call that. Like, I had a healing practice before I was on the internet. Yeah. And then I got on the internet. Yeah. And then I started having a healing practice online. Yeah. And I started working with people virtually. Yeah. Carol is my number one. So I mentioned her, and she wrote me and said, "Hi, Robin. I made it to Italy finally. Almost unreal after all this time. And being out of the big city after all this COVID time is also unreal. Not being trapped in lockdown and behind a mask anymore. Sigh. And as we wrote about before, it takes time to readjust and re-emerge and unfurl. I got here 3 days ago, and I'm still landing and processing, exhausted, tired, relieved, excited, all at the same time. And the feeling and the knowing that some parts got lost during that period and others were found. I just wanted to confirm that what we reflected on a couple days ago still feels very real. I hope you can take your trip to camp by a lake and take the time. And I wanted to send a big hello and much love from Italy. I'm thinking of you often since we were here together before it all started. And let me pause in her letter just to say to you, if you remember that I went to Assisi, Italy in November of 2019, Jeff and I went, and our kids came and met us, and some other family came to visit, and I had a few all-day healing sessions there with European clients who could fly over, take the train. It was just so many good things. Carol and I were in Italy at the same time, and when we left, after we left, COVID began. Almost like we had a lot of experiences together that in later time you reflect on and realize, wow, we were doing that journey together too. We were getting there and leaving in time before it really broke out. Also, she continues, I wanted to thank you for saying hi in the podcast episode from last week. That was 138. I loved hearing about how we met. I love our story because despite how unusual the situation was, me being one of the first online clients and online healing in general, it felt so normal. At no time, not 1 second, did I feel weird or unsure or doubtful. In this very unusual situation, I was at ease. And it still feels like you and I met over a cup of coffee, which we still did not have together till this day. Oh, we will, my friend. We just need to decide, will it be Bali? Will it be Italy? Will it be Germany? Will it be Chicago? Where are we going to meet? Thank you for showing up online back then and giving me the possibility to find you. I'm gratefully we did meet. And finally, I'm going to send a garden picture because I enjoy following your garden journal and your magic a lot. So another little hello from our garden to yours. We're having a grill party with the neighbors tonight, and I went for the fun decorations. My mom still thinks I'm 10 years old. Oh, and it's a splendid garden. Splendid garden in Tuscany. My friend, you are the goddess of everything love. And thank you again for letting me read that letter, Carol. You guys are the bomb. When I reach out and say, can I share this on the podcast? Nobody ever says no. Occasionally somebody would be like, you're what now? Because they don't know I have a podcast. But usually nobody says no. They say, if it will help one other person, please share. Which I love. I love that about you. And that is that's the nature of the light worker, is knowing I'm doing these things for us, not just for me. It's not just all about me. So I'll end with the Little Debbies. It's not really a story. I just wanted to say I'm reading a marvelous book series again. I read it some summers, and it is the Mitford series by Jan Karen, At Home in Mitford, Father Timothy. Have you read this series? The first book is a favorite. I'm just into like the third chapter with his secretary, Emma. He's a pastor in a small town, very proud of their town. Sort of reminds me of Gilmore Girls meets, Father Brown or something like that. But so sweet and just sweet. There's no vampires eating anybody's face off, and nobody stabbing anyone in the back, and it's just harmless. It's just enjoyable fun, and you can hear me laughing a lot because things are just written in I love studying writing too. I'm not the best. I'm a great writer, but I'm not the best at expressing how it's feeling inside. I'm always looking for new ways to write. So I like to read and learn that way. How do they punctuate that exclamation, that expression of what they're doing? And just so many best stories about his dog who happens upon him. The dog finds Father Tim. And anyway, Emma always has Little Debbie's for Father Tim in her drawer. And I remember Little Debbie's. Reading that in the book reminded me of something very sweet about my mother. And that was, she always bought Hostess treats for me. When she started working, when she left my stepdad, it's very stressful for a parent. We put so much focus on the kids when we get divorced and what they're going through. And, maybe she thought about that. But when I sit with parents who are going through divorce or blended family stuff, that's my family. We're a blended family. I always take so much care to encourage the parents to be there for themselves, to support themselves, because adjusted, centered parents are really the key to adjusted, centered children, So my mom, when she got a job and started making more money, I've lived through bankruptcy, I've lived through furniture being repossessed, I've lived through a lot of scary things that have afforded me a perspective that I never would have had otherwise. But she would buy Hostess, Little Debbie's. I still remember the way I would eat them. She would buy me pickles. I have a love affair with pickles. She would buy me all the pickles I wanted and the ranch dressing to go with it. And just recently reading my Father Tim, Little Debbie experience really helped me receive some more love from my mom, which can be a really tough place. So those of you finding ways to reach your kids, finding ways to stay connected in a way that doesn't exhaust you, that doesn't, it's not too much. Sometimes we push people away with our too muchness in our effort to be loving and kind. It's too much. A little thing goes a long way. So finding that way. So thank you to the Little Debbies. If you have one this week, say cheers to Father Tim and me and maybe my mom. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you for, if you've listened this far and you're getting it and you're receiving, thank you for that. Well, beautiful feeling to be done for the day. 3 sessions in today, recording the podcast. I hear the little girls screaming already outside. They have a trampoline across the way. It's time for me to go and play. Hey. And truly, I hope you will stay in your own heart and play today. What do you say? Yay or nay? This has been me, Robin, play, Hallett. You are loved exactly as you are, and may you let all things be exactly as they are. I'll see you next time, or in a few minutes, if you like to binge listen. Bye-bye. Life is very short, let's make the very most of it. You are a precious gem and I love you. We are here to shine and shine bright. You are a gem and I love you. Life is precious and you are a spark of the divine. So shine like you know it, rock it like you mean it, 'cause you really, really mean it, and mean it, and mean it, and mean it, and mean it. Don't let crispy people tell you that you aren't sparkly, 'cause you are, 'cause you are, 'cause you are. Thank you. I like that. I love it, honey. Thank you. Give me a kiss.